Hey everybody, welcome to What a Week. I'm Chris McKinnon here with John Keller. We got a lot to talk about as usual.
You don't
today.
have a beer on you, do you?
No, I don't have a beer on me right now. We'll have to wait until 5 o'clock to crack
Okay,
one open.
all right,
I guess.
fair enough.
We're off the clock, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so we're going to talk about the Democratic debate, but I want to start, John, with the tea. We've gone through some tough times over the last few weeks. Governor Baker, for a while, has been saying, let's stay the course. We've got a plan in place. It's going to take us a while, but just stick with us here. Changing course a little bit here to try and, I guess, appease maybe some riders, some frustrated voters out there.
He's feeling the heat.
Yeah.
And any smart politician who feels that kind of heat reacts to it, and that's exactly what you're seeing here. By coming out and saying, look, we're going to immediately spend $50 million on and organize this whole management team that's going to try to accelerate things, night and weekend work to try to speed some of these infrastructure changes. And I thought very interestingly, although it was kind of downplayed, looking at, again, injecting some elements of privatization, bypassing the contractual process. That's something that's going to meet some resistance in the legislature. But, you know, Baker, I think, is not oblivious, even though he is yet to cave into demands that he actually ride the tea himself. He is not oblivious to the fact that people have had it, the prospect of a summer of just unending nightmare on the Red Line, not to mention everything else that goes on. So that's what you're seeing here.
Let me ask you just a little insight here. Have you ever seen frustration to this boiling point? I mean, over the years, I know obviously Governor Baker inherited the tea. It's been not very good for a long time, but we seem to be hitting this tipping point here.
Yeah, it reminds me of during the snowpocalypse winter. And that was, of course, the winner, his first winter in office. He came in, you remember, basically fired the general manager of the tea. People were apoplectic as well. They should have been. If you remember, the whole system shut down for a couple of days, and it was a nightmare for months. People have had it, and, it's having this ripple effect. It's putting more cars and ride shares out on the roads. The traffic has never been this bad in my lifetime, and I'm well over 100 years old. I don't know if you realize that. So, yeah, I would say it's a tipping point, and that's why you're seeing this unexpected political reaction.
All right. Next thing we want to talk about is the RMV, and of course, this is just a terrible story all around. The head of the RMV resigning after that terrible crash up in New Hampshire that killed 7 motorcyclists. So there seems to be some, I don't know if it's confusion or miscommunication or oversight of what was going on with this gentleman, the suspect's driver's license, but it forced basically the RMV head to lose her job over this.
And Erin Devaney has been a long-time civil servant who was sort of a crisis management type. She was brought into the Department of Children and Families to help stabilize that after a series of scandals, then over to the RMV. But boy, this was a disaster. I mean, if there's one thing that we insist that the RMV do, it's pull the tickets of convicted drunk drivers whose licenses should be suspended. That didn't happen here. People are dead as a result of it in horrific fashion. So, and the broader context here, Chris, is that the registry has always been, I'm going to steal your term, a flashpoint in Massachusetts politics. I remember when Charlie Baker ran in 2014, he never missed an opportunity to talk about how he was going to come in and improve the operation of the registry, and it has improved in recent years because he understands it's the one area where every adult interacts with government, and if it's a frustrating experience, as it sometimes can be, boy, it makes people mad. So Charlie Baker has not been the type to precipitously fire someone when something goes wrong, but he sure moved fast this time.
Yeah, probably something that needed to be done.
Again, political pressure begets a political response. In a way, that's the way the system is supposed to work.
Yep. Last thing, let's talk about the first round of the Democratic debate. 10 candidates on stage last night. By the way, round 2 is tonight, so you'll have to tune in next week.
We tape on Thursday, so we haven't seen round 2. But
Liz Warren, thoughts on her performance last night?
Well, it was really a little mini vignette of how the campaign's been going so far. Liz Warren rolls out this cascade of detailed policy proposals, and pretty much the rest of the field hustles to play catch-up. That's the way at least the first 45 minutes of Wednesday night's debate played out. And I thought it was very effective for Warren, at least within the universe of the primary voters, which tend to be, at least in the early caucuses and primaries, activists, more left-leaning than the overall electorate, certainly. One fly in Warren's ointment the other night, when they did a show of hands, who supports Medicare for all, the single-payer system, and I believe it was she and de Blasio were the only ones to raise their hands. If she should somehow wind up as the nominee, the Republicans are going to drop up to $1 billion on ads, I'm predicting right now, focusing on that, because part of that is no more private health insurance.
Right.
And I'm guaranteeing you walk outside on Soldiers Field Road and ask the first 10 people you meet how they'd feel about losing their private health insurance, and you're going to get an earful. So that's problematic for Warren, and that's something she's going to have to deal with as her campaign continues if she should get over the hump and get the nomination. We'll see.
All right, we'll see. Still a long way to go. Still a lot more to figure out between now and November 2020.
Back in your office, you don't have any loose beers?
No loose beers back in the office.
Not just one?
I'll see what I can do. I'll try to scavenge around
after
here
five.
for you.
After five.
Exactly. I'm off the clock at 12:30, though. So
Oh,
there you
you're
go.
lucky.
Thanks for checking in with us. We'll see you next week for What a Week.